It is the Sunday Media Pulse. I'm Rich Lieberman. I've talked quite a bit about the fact that, every station, every outlet has their issues of non tranquility. I'll use that phrase. And that's not the case or I should say, that is the case at almost every TV news station these days. Why? Because of the numbers or the lack of numbers. People are not watching as they once did local television news. One of the stations locally here that has had major issues, and that's KRON. And KRON, goes back and forth. They were a joke at one time. They haven't been the same, obviously, since the NBC days when they were an affiliate of NBC. That was years ago. And they've tried to adapt some kind of a new business model. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. And now it is not working. It hasn't been working for many moons now. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that KRON basically doesn't have any respect for itself. They don't know what kind of anchor to go with. They don't obviously pay as much as the other stations, and therefore they have to get by on hunches. Now they do have an ownership that does have the money, but are notoriously cheap, and that's Nexstar. So in life, you get what you pay for. And right now, KRON is in a heap of uncertainty, trouble. Nobody knows who runs the show. Theory wise, it should be a guy by the name of Josh Pfy. Now, most of you don't know who Josh Pfy is, and you don't want to know or don't care. He's irrelevant. That's the good news. He is the news director at KRON. And again, folks, this is a television news station that basically relies on its sort of benignness, that has really no discernible kind of a feature, has no really compelling issue or thing for that matter to watch. The irony of KRON a few years back is that they actually improved. They developed niche programming in the morning because, in fact, if you went around any Bay Area airport or doctor's office or car dealerships, KRON was on in the background. Why? Because they were fairly benign. They didn't hurt anybody. They had boring anchors for the most part who did the news, wasn't anything exciting, was actually fairly somewhat amateur looking. Nonetheless, they developed a style that lots of people watched. Not necessarily say, oh, that's good. It was consistent. Not so much dreck, but passable content. Passable. Nobody stood out. Oh, maybe a Pam Moore every now and then. Of course, Pam Moore is retired. Ken Wayne, nothing spectacular. Kind of boring. Ken Wayne basically took a hike. They were telling him to. So KRON is KRON. And they don't have the type of manpower that most of the stations have, even in this marginalized market. Therefore, a lot of their rank and file people are fed up and they don't know what to do. What are they going to do? They can't go out and start screaming and yelling, metaphorically speaking, because they understand KRON is what it is. It's KRON. But there are people, there are individuals who have a little bit more juice than you might think. Pfy, the news director, he basically has a lot of Aaron Pirro. Remember him? He used to be the volatile, kind of asshole-ish news director. Well, Pfy took over for him, for Pirro. And what you have is, I've said this word, benign. KRON is boring. They're boring. They're like alfalfa sprouts. There's nothing there. And Nexstar, you would think, We're using logic here. That doesn't apply, apparently. You would think Nexstar would pay attention to one of its signature television stations in a top 10 market, but they don't. They're trying to get by with breadcrumbs and alfalfa sprouts, and they know that none of this is compelling. They know that even with the network affiliation, that KRON is not getting any traction. They are boring, it seems, on purpose. And here's another main element to this. KRON doesn't have any compelling anchor. They're all fairly benign and boring. Nobody, Catherine Heenan, God bless her soul, kind of boring. There's nobody more steady and gorgeous, frankly, to look at than Vicky Liviakis. Unfortunately, Vicky does not have depth. There's no outward appeal. And KRON doesn't have an anchor that stands out, who, by the way, could probably help a Vicky Liviakis, who in turn could probably help a notable anchor. Also with Catherine Heenan and even a Justine Waldman. I recommended, and this went on deaf ears, I guess, I recommended that KRON think outside the box, make a move that would be outward and kind of a taking a chance, which, like life, is evident. And that is hire somebody like a Somerville, a Frank Somerville. Or if not that, go out and get somebody. It's going to cost you a little bit, but that's life. Otherwise, you could continue on. You can have this indifference in the newsroom. You could continue to put these pecan heads out there. The product is just not exciting. And when I say exciting, I'm not talking about people jumping up and down and screaming and yelling and reporters doing somersaults, literally and figuratively. I'm talking about somebody who can represent a decent personality and compellingness to say, wow, I watch that guy. I watch that woman. I enjoy watching KRON. That's not going to happen anytime soon. And the people who work at KRON, especially those, the rank and file, they know it, which in turn dictates the reason why KRON right now has many, many internal issues. That's not going to go away anytime soon. Either the network has to make a move or KRON itself, its few execs that have any source of power also has to make a move. What that entails, I've just sort of outlined, but don't hold your breath, folks. It's not going to happen. Okay, real quickly. Sunday. And folks, I rely on your contributions. I rely on my viewers, my members, my posse, if you will, who, if you like what I bring you, if you like scoops, if you like my occasional commentary, and even if you disagree with my opinions every now and then, you watch. If you like a live show with interviews and technique and information, and of course, above all, everything else, entertainment. I am here almost every day. And when I'm not here every day, it's usually every other day. But I need your contributions. Otherwise, there is no Rich Lieberman. Shame on me. There is no Pulse, literally and figuratively. Folks, please, $5, $10, $20, any kind of contribution, go up to my icon on your desktop, your laptop, your computer, click on the icon that says PayPal, make a donation, and it goes directly to me, and it enables me to give you the information, the content live on YouTube that you look forward to every day. You're not going to get the BS here. No spin here. You're going to get the truth, the opinion, and nothing but the truth, but I need your help. So I need you to make a contribution. Everybody's having issues these days. I know many of you who watch me that are in tech, job transition, and so forth. But I will personally thank you. If you make a donation over $20, you get a 5-minute personal schmooze with none other than yours truly from the heart, Rich Lieberman. I will personally thank you again via email or via a phone call. It is Sunday. You've been watching the Rich Lieberman Media Pulse. Please make a donation. Above all, be a member, be a subscriber to my channel here on YouTube. Thanks. We'll see you soon.